All right, old school NBA fans, self-research NBA facts. I got another video here for you. Hope everybody had a good Father's Day weekend. Thanks anybody watching my videos, subscribing to my channel. Really appreciate it. Means a lot to me. It really does. I put a lot of work into it. I'll get a random detractor here and there, but whatever. There's just nothing you can do about that. I just stick to the facts, and they fall where they may. This video here is, to me, more proof as to why today's NBA is just not comparable to the golden age, the 80s, the 90s, even into the 2000s. It's just completely different. The players are different. But this isn't so much about the rules as it goes to the players themselves. Now, Defensive Player of the Year came in 1983. So this would only apply to the last 42 years. So the last 42 seasons, what I'm looking at is how many players were top 5 in MVP and also top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. Now, again, it's 42 years. That's all it is. And you're going to hear a lot of the same names twice. Believe me, a lot of this voting goes into how good your team is. So, I've seen players that were having very, very good seasons, but they wouldn't get the votes because the record wasn't good enough, whether it's Defensive Player of the Year or MVP. Considering that Akeem Olajuwon, for example, his team never won 60 games, it was never the number 1 seed, and still he managed to grab 2 Defensive Players of the Year and an MVP, just speaks to how great Olajuwon really was. Hold on. Yeah, so a player like Akeem Olajuwon, he's only winning 55 games or more 3 times in his whole career. So he's just not going to get the votes for this kind of stuff. He just didn't have the backcourt help, really, or the front court help to, accumulate these winning records. But, he had some great runs, and he made the most of his opportunities. Anyway, so going year by year, I think it was a total of 22 different players. 1983, it was Larry Bird and Sidney Moncrief that were top 5 in MVP and also top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year. This, I think it happened 22, it was like every other year on average is when this happened. 1987, Kevin McHale. 1988, Michael Jordan. 89, Jordan and Olajuwon. 1990, Jordan and Ewing. 91, David Robinson. 92, Jordan and Robinson. 93, Jordan, Olajuwon, and Ewing. 94, Olajuwon, Pippen, Robinson. 95, Robinson, Olajuwon. 96, Robinson, Olajuwon, Pippen. 97, Jordan. 98, Jordan, Peyton, Tim Duncan. 99, Mourning, Tim Duncan. 2000, Shaq and Mourning. 2001, Duncan and Garnett. 2002, just Kobe. 2003, Duncan, Garnett. 2005, Duncan. 07, Duncan. 08, Kobe and Garnett. 09, Dwight Howard, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. 2010, LeBron, Dwight Howard. 2011, Howard. 2012, LeBron. 13, LeBron. 2014, Joakim Noah. 2015, Anthony Davis. 2016, Kawhi Leonard. 2017, Kawhi and LeBron. 2018, Anthony Davis. 2019, Giannis and Paul George. 2020, Giannis. 2021, Giannis. So, 2024, no one. 2023, no one. 2022, no one. The last 3 years, there has not been a single person. And in 2021 and 2020, only Giannis. So in the last 5 seasons, you've had one player to be top 5 in both. That's it. You look at the golden age of the 90s, and there was just a plethora of guys. So yeah, back in the 90s, that was the time of the two-way player. That was the David Robinsons, the Patrick Ewings, the Akeem Olajuwons, the Michael Jordans, Scottie Pippen, Gary Payton. Those were the guys. At the end of the decade, you had Duncan, Lonzo Mourning. These are the type of two-way players that I'm talking about. They were top 5 in MVP and also Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. Wasn't done that often. Like I said, I think it was only 22 different players have done it. In fact, players that have done it one time were Larry Bird, Sidney Moncrief, Kevin McHale, Gary Payton, Shaq, Dwayne Wade, Joakim Noah, and Paul George. That's 8 people. There was 6 people that did it twice. Patrick Ewing, Scottie Pippen, Alonzo Mourning, Kobe, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi Leonard. Now those last 2 could do it more, maybe, we'll see. But again, you see and hearing a lot of names in the 90s there. Players that have done it 3 times: Kevin Garnett, Dwight Howard, and Giannis. Giannis could do more, never know. Players that have done it 5 times are LeBron, which is a weird one in 2017 because he did not make all defense in 2017. And but he was tied for 5th for Defensive Player of the Year with like 7 other players. It was so weird. But technically, it's a top 5. So, whatever. He's got 5. David Robinson has 5, and Akeem Olajuwon has 5. Tim Duncan is the only player who has 6. And Michael Jordan has the most out of everybody with 7. 7 times he was top 5 in MVP and top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. That's the most ever. But the difference, the players that did it 5 times or more, well, Michael Jordan obviously won MVPs and a Defensive Player of the Year. Tim Duncan won 2 MVPs but never Defensive Player of the Year. He didn't even get a runner-up to Defensive Player of the Year. But still, Duncan's longevity, is what, just like LeBron, it's the longevity of playing for so long. You're going to get this stuff, both by reputation and just having that many seasons. David Robinson, who did it 5 times, won both Defensive Player of the Year and he won the MVP. Akeem Olajuwon, too. The only players ever to do it was Akeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Michael Jordan, Kevin Garnett, and Giannis. That's it. 5 players ever have won Defensive Player and the MVP at some point in their career. Now, I believe the only players to do it in the same season was Olajuwon, Jordan, and Giannis. Those 3 players did it in the same season. So to me, it kind of makes it a little more special, but whatever. But of these players, you go by the decade, like I said, in the last 5 years, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, half a decade, 5 years. It's only been done twice by the same player, Giannis. So we're obviously getting away from the great two-way players. In the 90s, you had Jordan and Ewing. There's 2 in 1990. In 91, Robinson. In 92, MJ and Robinson. In 93, MJ, Olajuwon, Ewing. In 94, Olajuwon, Pippen, Robinson. 95, Robinson, Olajuwon. 96, Robinson, Olajuwon, Pippen. 97, MJ. So in the whole 90s, it was done 8, 11, 13, 16, 22 times. 22 times in the decade of the 90s. You had a player finish top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year as well as MVP. This half decade so far, 2 times by 1 player. To me, that's just crazy. Now, the amount of players that did it in the 90s, you got Jordan, Ewing, David Robinson, Akeem Olajuwon, Scottie Pippen, Gary Payton, Tim Duncan, and Alonzo Mourning. So 8 different players made up the 22 times that happened. Where in this half decade so far, 1 player did it twice. I mean, to me, it's just more proof of how the 90s especially was just a better brand of basketball. Just better players, better two-way players. I know everybody's in love with offense and, the skill, whatever. To me, this is absolute proof that the 90s had better players because they played on both ends of the court. So anyway, that's it for this video. Wasn't going to be a very long one. I just wanted to get this information out there. I didn't know if people realize. I didn't realize it, but I didn't know that Michael Jordan had the most. I mean, I guess I should have known. He's got the most almost everything, but 7 times he was top 5 in MVP and top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year. Duncan was next with 6. So anyway, thanks for watching.